For my conservative friends, I'm sure it's no surprise that I dig Dr. Benjamin Carson. And to a liberal, me liking Benjamin would be like a snail liking salt, or a cat liking a bath, or Sheryl Crow liking more than one sheet of toilet paper, or how Al Gore likes the internet, especially after those leaks. Bet you're really glad you invented the internet now, Mr. Al.
I think what's happening. Propaganda.
So yeah, y'all, Dr. Carson rocks. And I dig him probably for the same reasons that you do, even though I'm not supposed to like him at all, because we conservative blacks are self-hating blacks, according to you liberals, that is. Hey, I was reminded of some of Chris Rock's mind-rotted bitterness while listening to Larry Elder's show the other day, another person I respect and admire. Oh, and I even heard Kira Davis on his show. Oh my God, that's way too many black people for me to handle. But Larry Elder was playing the audio from this clip from Chris Rock.
And nobody gives less of a than George Bush. You think you don't give a Bush don't give a Nobody gives less of a than George Bush. If you was hanging from a cliff, get ready to fall to your death. That's right, and Bush was at the top of the cliff. And all you needed was a to save your life. And Bush had a pocket full of he wouldn't give you one. Hey, Bush, I need a oh, you know I don't give a
Bush doesn't care about anybody. Didn't Bush send like over $15 billion in federal aid to Africa to help them with that AIDS problem? Whereas you, Chris Rock, received money for falsely accusing people while calling it jokes. And of course, if you're black and don't agree with people like Chris Rock, then that means you just must hate the whole black race. And it must have been the worst day of Bush's life to have to do this. George Bush must have been thinking, man, I just want to cut off your circulation so bad. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Dr. Carson's statement about taxing at 10% while he was doing a little bit of pediatric neurosurgery on Obama at the prayer breakfast. Y'all may have thought it was really awesome that Clint Eastwood schooled an empty chair, but this time, Obama's behind was in the chair. And I bet it hurt his behind to sit in any other chair for the next few days. But anyway, regarding Dr. Carson's taxing at 10% statement, for a long time, many of us conservatives said if 10% is good enough for God, who doesn't force that from you, mind you, then it should be good enough for the government. And in my book, Paper, Ink, and What I Think from around 2008, I discussed the 10% tax from everybody. Whether you make $24,000 or $24 million, it's a win-win for the government and the private sector. And Dr. Carson pointed out that some people, liberals actually, would say it's not going to hurt the billionaire as much as the person who makes a few thousand. Dr. Carson then poses a great question. Why would you want to hurt the person who put in $1 billion? And you have to ask this about liberals because they do have an eat the rich mentality. And I have to point out the greed which is on full display by liberals. They want to be able to take from others until it hurts while calling others greedy. But I no longer believe in the 10% income tax. I was wrong about that. See, I can admit when I'm wrong. The government isn't supposed to be telling us what we're allowed to keep. We're not supposed to be deprived of our property without due process. The government steals, violating the commandment not to, and they do it to be elected or re-elected by promising the stolen wealth to those who covet the wealth of others, violating the commandment not to. The government can collect taxes, yes, not income taxes though. Well then how would the government make money, Zoe? Well, grab a copy of my audiobook, Weapon of Mass Destruction, available at alfonzorachel.com. I talk about it in a chapter called The Case for Capitalism. I'm Alfonzo Rachel with Zoe Nation, and the black community should love Dr. Carson, because he got real on Obama. And you know we love keeping it real, right? But Dr. Carson's realness can't compare to Obama's realness. Obama is okay with fully developed babies being left to die if the woman who was pregnant with the baby doesn't want him or her, and the partial birth abortion wasn't successful. Again, let me repeat, Obama supports turning your back on a baby and letting the baby die. That's real, son. You can't compete with that realness. And in light of such callous apathy like Obama's, who condones a woman's so-called right to abandon her child to the fate of death, Chris Rock accuses George Bush about not caring about anybody. Dr. Benjamin Carson is a director of pediatric neurosurgery, which in the backward world of liberalism means Dr. Carson really doesn't care about anybody. I just want to cut off your circulation so bad.